we have makeup and skin expert Katie Moyer here to share her tips. I'm obsessed with her Instagram. You guys probably are too. Makeup and Skin by Katie. But we're going to get to talk to her in the flesh. I'm going to ask her some questions, and I couldn't be more excited. So, Katie, thank you for being
Sure.
here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, let's dive right in, shall we? I mean, you have such great info on your social media. You share so many tips with all of your followers, and you're also just, I love your attitude. So, could we start with attitude? Like, let's frame this before we get into it, because I love how positive you are, how you talk about, this is the youngest we're going to be. So, we should really like love ourselves as we do these things. So, can you just give us your philosophy?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it. I think this is the youngest you're going to be. And, I think a lot of women can relate to wasting a lot of time wishing away their life, wishing they were thinner, wishing they were taller, wishing they were in a better relationship. And I think that the beauty of aging is that you start to realize, like, I was pretty good then, and I wish I would have realized it. And I think those of us that have children have even a like another facet to that, that where we look at them and say, gosh, I don't want them to waste 1 minute wishing they were someone else. I mean, with that said, I always say, like, you can aspire to more or better,
Sure.
but it's a heart posturing of like contentment where you are, and just like living in a state of gratitude. It really just takes like choosing that, you know.
Mhm. I love that. And that is so important because we all go through time periods where we can be really hard on ourselves. And you'll look back at old photos and you're like, I looked great then. Like, why was I like that? So, yeah, it's like remembering that we're good enough the way that we are. And this is just kind of like the icing on the cake. And, this is what we like to do. I mean, I have fun with this stuff too. I love it.
Absolutely. One of the things, like one of the eye-opening things for me is, I didn't get on social media until really 2020 kind of forced me to be able to make content for just like my existing customers. Like, I was like, okay, my clients that I can't really go down there anymore. I'm going to
Right.
make these videos to teach you how to do your own. And instead of making 30 videos, I was like, I'll just kind of house them here,
Hmm.
thinking really nobody watches, nobody but the people that I know.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be fine.
Little did you know, 500,000 plus people later.
Yeah, I mean, it is really, really exciting. But I think one of the
Yeah.
first times I started filming myself, I was like, oh my gosh, my neck, like, you would do stuff and then you see it. And
Yes.
you have the luxury of like not seeing that when you're just talking to another human being in real life.
Totally.
But then I thought, what is my goal? My goal is to connect with other women. And I'm like, to pretend that some of us don't have those issues will only increase their insecurities. And my job as a makeup artist is to decrease insecurities. And so if I can just show up how I am, bad angles sometimes, bad lighting sometimes, showing my neck. One of the first troll comments said, face like 35, neck like 55. And I was like,
Ugh.
oh, they clocked me. They know. But I thought, it's not just me, it's all of us. And I
Yeah.
think that there's like power in it together. If we can all just be like, yeah, that comes with age. But I don't think many of us want to go back to our 20s anyway.
No.
So
No.
it's like, okay, well, I'll take a saggy neck for, this life. That's fine.
Right. Well, I love that. And that is honestly just so relatable. I do that stuff too, where I'm like, why have I not been like filming more or doing, because it's like what I love to do to be creative. And it will be like insecurities like that, like my lines on my neck or this or that. And my husband's just like, honey, you look gorgeous. Like, I wish you could see yourself through my eyes.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to all work on that. But I love what you said about just focusing on your purpose. It's like, what's my purpose? That's so
Right.
helpful. So I love this idea of keeping in perspective, enjoying our lives. That's like first and foremost. We want to enjoy our lives and we want to also enhance ourselves and feel good. And that is okay. And if it is your thing, you came to the right place because we're going to be talking about all things skin and beauty and treatment treatments and let's have some fun.
Yes, it's my
Yes.
favorite topic.
I know, right? Mine too, mine too. So, Katie, first of all, what is your go-to? I mean, I know that you talk a lot about different treatments that you love, but like right now, as we have this conversation, is there anything that you're just like obsessed with, anything that you've discovered?
So there's a lot of things. I think it's gonna boil down though to skincare.
Okay.
So if we're looking at kind of like this hierarchy of where I'm going to spend my time and money, I always look at what does this procedure do as far as longevity and like how long in the future can it last? Nothing is a one and done, right?
Right.
But treating my skin daily with skincare, really good skincare, retinol, tretinoin, that honestly is number one. Then from there, I'm going to go microneedling and lasers, because all of those stimulate collagen. If you would have asked me a year or two ago, I would say biostimulators. But now I think I'm just flipping back to like the old school, like let's just do like microneedling and laser. There's a place and an argument for both, but
I've seen people have some amazing results with just like plain old micro needling.
I agree. Ideally, start your journey with microneedling with 3 sessions about 6 weeks apart, and then follow up quarterly, to just keep that collagen stimulating. And it doesn't always have to be microneedling. There's lasers that can stimulate collagen. Anything with the skin, count me in.
Right? Anything with the skin, definitely. We have to prioritize
Yeah.
it. I love what you said also about budget because I do feel like as far as treatments go, when you go and you're looking at and comparing different prices, I do feel like microneedling tends to be on the more affordable side compared to some of the other lasers and things. So I love that. You can just look at what can I accomplish, what's going to help me the most with the budget that I have. And I think that's a really great suggestion to,
Yeah.
focus on that and consistency.
I think when I was younger, I would be like, go big or go home. Now that I'm in my 40s, I realize like, okay, slow and steady over time really is your best friend. And
Okay.
I think that that's really hard in like a society that wants instant results. And it kind of feels that way when you're watching social media. You kind of skip, we see the before and afters. We see the weight loss that happened, and we don't really take into consideration like that was years of consistency and hard work. The skin should be the same way. It is an organ. We don't know how it will react to things. So taking things gently, it's better to do that than to blast your face off and be like, oh man, I went too far.
Yes, that is
Now
the
I
good
can't
point.
pull back.
Mhm. It's so much easier to add more than to pull back, right? Um,
That's it. Yes.
mhm.
Mhm.
So what laser do you like? What would you recommend to other women, let's say like late 30s into their 40s and 50s? Like, are there different lasers that you think work for different skin ages? What's just your philosophy
Absolutely.
on lasers?
So lasers are like different lasers are going to have different, claims to fame, right? Like
Mhm.
some are going to be better at resurfacing, and some are going to be really good at stimulating collagen. And lasers can get very, very confusing.
Yes.
Lasers and skin treatments are one of those things that, if you've heard my soapbox in the past, I'm really like not a big believer of starting things too early. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
you need to start Botox in your 20s and or even 30s for some people. I just think like taking care of your skin,
Mhm.
wearing sunscreen is like the best thing you can do. But with that said, if you can start a yearly laser, do it soon, because
Okay.
your collagen production and your elastin starts to decrease by your late 20s. Like that is something I would say like that's okay, but yeah, start gentle. So there are light treatments. People call them lasers. They're technically not lasers. They are light treatments. That's something like IPL or BBL. Both of those are going to target pigment in the skin. Something like a V-beam will also target like broken capillaries. So those are not necessarily universal, because it does target kind of the melanin in the skin and breaks that up. But those are excellent. That's what I started on. I had sun damage by my 30s. And so I was
Yeah.
really like bothered by the sunspots and the age spots. And so I did IPL and I had really great results. That's something that you need to continue to do. Those colors will resurface in the skin. But also, if you go back in the sun and you don't use sun protection, it will come back. But they are phenomenal. In my experience, when combined with something like a halo, or a moxie. Basically, we have a light treatment that's going to attack all that pigment. There are lasers that basically think of it like mowing off your skin. They're going to completely resurface it. And then there's lasers that are just going to kind of remove spots. So your recovery is a lot faster, but the studies are great. Those are the kind that I use, where
Okay.
you still might have a week downtime, but you're not slathering your skin with Vaseline because you've completely removed that top layer of skin. That's something that I would say, hey, you've done nothing for 20 years and you're like 55 now. You have a ton of sun damage. You might be a candidate, or you have a lot of like smoker lines, things like that. You might be a candidate for something like that, like a TCA peel, something that's just going to mow off that top layer of your skin. Otherwise, I would say just start looking at 6-month to yearly treatments. All of these things are good. People are always like, which one? I say just pick one and just do them regularly. Maybe bounce around. See how you responded to one over the other. That's really my best advice is go like, hey, just pick one, do it, and then schedule that next one 8 to 12 months out and just keep doing it. I think sometimes we just have too high of expectations.
Yes.
But I will look back to pictures of me in my 30s and I'm like, gosh, my skin is so much better now.
That's amazing. Just get started and just try it, see what works. I love that. There was a whole video that I was watching it on your Instagram and you really like go in. You're talking about your neck, you're talking about it getting 10% better. I thought that was so helpful because I think for a lot of us, the neck is kind of an annoying thing for me too. Like it's definitely my biggest thing that bothers me the most, hands down of everything. So I'm really curious to hear what you've done, what you like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Neck treatments.
So the neck, I actually haven't talked about this publicly on my Instagram. So I'll give your viewers like my, the first thing. So I acclimated up to tretinoin. When I very first went into the dermatologist, I asked for a tretinoin. They gave me kind of that tret that everybody gets. It's the one that the insurance company covers. And I could never acclimate to it. So I went backwards and I went back into retinol and I kind of baby stepped my way up to tretinoin. And finally I went into the dermatologist and I said, hey, what can I do? I want to get on tretinoin. I never could acclimate to this. And he goes, there's one that the insurance won't cover, but it's called Altreno. Altreno. He said it's formulated with like a hyaluronic acid. It's more like a gel. You do have to pay full price for it, but that is a miracle tret.
Really?
I absolutely love it. And I was really gung-ho that I was going to acclimate my entire chest, neck, and face to tretinoin. I kind of baby stepped up through a very, very gentle retinol. And then I titrated up as I went along. The Altreno never gets to 1. It's only a 0.5, but I think it's phenomenal. So those of you who have tried a tret in the past and you're already at the highest strength retinol, maybe go try Altreno. Now, if you've never used a retinol, I would say, let's get you a baby one. Like look at one that's like a 0.25, something like that. But now you'll see on the market a lot of separate products for the neck. And there's a good reason, because it just doesn't have as much oil glands. It's thinner. It's so much more sensitive. This is more susceptible to gravity because it doesn't have like all of these little like connecting points like the face does to kind of keep it lifted more. But smooth threads are essentially just dissolvable sutures that they kind of put pretty superficially in the skin. And those dissolve down and they basically create collagen 3, which is scar tissue, but scar tissue is strong. And so if you can go in and hatch them right here, you kind of create a little like internal sling of your own scar tissue. Will that impede a facelift in the future? I don't know. That's going to be that surgeon's problem because I like it.
That's our problem in 10 years from now. Okay.
Yeah, that's Katie tomorrow.
Yes.
That's not Katie now.
Exactly.
Everybody should be equipped and educated on what they're getting into and then make that decision for themselves. There's a lot of people that say, hey, I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk scar tissue because I plan on doing XYZ in the future. By all means, I don't think it is any one thing that helps. I think it's a series of things that you do multiple times. Hyperdilute radius in the neck, I think, is phenomenal. That builds
Okay.
collagen. But I will say the number one thing outside of retinol is going to be like a neurotoxin along these bands here, which I get them done. So I don't really have a whole lot of them. But I did those in the bands and I paid an exorbitant amount of money. And I was so disappointed because I felt like it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
When I finally went to my injector, my new injector, and she put the Botox or Dysport or whatever she used along the jaw as well, and then down the bands. Now, this is very expensive, but boy, does it keep you from pulling your face down.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I can't even do the little frowny things. So these DOA, even if all you can afford are the DOAs, where you just like where the jowls pull, where you make the little bitter beer face,
Mm-hmm. So that
do it.
prevents the jowling. It prevents the kind of, I don't know, like
Those
it
little
getting more
waddle
weak
things.
right here.
The,
Yeah.
yeah, those are stretched out by the pulling. And
Interesting.
so I do think that that is,
Okay.
I would rather somebody only do Botox on the bottom of their face versus the top of their face. I
Wow.
think that's how important lower face Botox is.
Interesting. And that is not something that I have really thought of too much or heard, like really heard before. So that's really interesting. Okay, good to know.
Well,
Good
they
to
call
know.
it a Nefertiti neck lift, and
Okay.
that's really a misnomer because it's not going to lift your neck, but
Mhm.
it is still fabulous.
Mhm. Okay. And this is more of a personal question. And you guys, obviously you too, can benefit from this. But like, what about like when you get the lines on your neck? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I have
we
one
call
right here that I'm hiding strategically with my choker, but it
we call
really
that
bugs
tech neck.
I have it bad, and I've had it for, like, a few years. It's gotten worse in the past couple years, but it's
Yeah.
like, it bugs me so much. Is there anything to fix that? I mean,
Mhm.
are the lines
Yeah.
too deep?
Well, I mean, it's
You're
going
too
to
real.
make it better. You're going to get an improvement. You're not going to completely eradicate it because
Yeah.
it is a line that is there because you and I are in the industry where we're looking down all the
Yep.
time.
It's like
So it's going to come back because that's like a crease.
mhm. Yep.
A couple things. The hyperdilute radius is going to help thicken that skin and really make it less dramatic. You can put some really soft, buttery filler there.
Okay.
And then also you can do like basically it's like meso needling or micro needling or not micro needling. It's really meso needling of like tiny droplets of Botox. Now it's not
Mhm.
going into the muscle, it's just sitting there in the skin. But there is honestly, people don't talk enough about how neurotoxins actually do. I mean, people talk about glass skin, you know,
Mhm.
that glassy skin look when you get Botox.
Yep.
That is because it helps kind of like, I don't know if it's dilating the pore, I don't know what it's doing, but it does help kind of smooth the surface of the skin,
Mhm.
especially here in the neck. This
Wow.
area right here in the middle is like gets the creepiest.
Yes.
That does help. Microneedling will help that too. Some people have put smooth threads there in those lines and have had great results.
Okay.
Sometimes with these things, it's just like, how do you respond? Which one
Mhm.
worked for you? Which one gave you a little bit more confidence to say, okay, now I don't feel as self conscious about this? Sometimes it is a trial and error, and it is really finding an injector that you can go on that journey with that's not just trying to sell you everything, that's really trying to find you a solution.
Mhm. That's a big deal. That's a
Yeah.
big deal. And you have to just kinda go with your intuition on that one, you
Yeah, I
know?
think unfortunately, I would say find someone where you're like, gosh, you're really pretty. You look like your work is great. I know
Yeah, what
that.
do you do? Yeah.
Yeah, where do you go? Who do you go to? What do you do? And
Mhm.
I hope that by, you know, your public influence and my platform that we're encouraging women that we can talk about this stuff. And if we have more open dialogue about it, I think it just kind of decreases the amount of shame that women feel. And so I just think that more women should just say, hey, like, it's fine.
I love talking about these things with my friends and with other women because it definitely destigmatizes it. At the end of the day,
Right.
we're all doing something. I mean, whether it's finding a makeup that you really like or it's doing Botox, we all want to look pretty and we all do different things to feel good
Yeah,
today.
if we're not talking about it, we are giving the industry a leg up. Because if you go into that office and no one's talking about these things, at the end of the day, it's still a company. If you're going in
Yep.
there and you can't be informed, you can't be educated. I mean, for years, I felt like I just had to listen to what they say. And so I think that by having more conversations to help equip women, take it or leave it. But
Yeah.
if it's out there, we're saving women a lot of money. I see practitioners that I trust all the time. They are overselling procedures. And I'm like, you and I both know that is not going to give them a facelift result. We
Right.
both know that. And that is not fair because now you've taken their money and they're disappointed and you have them feeling more insecure. And my goal is to help women feel more confident. And so I feel like they need an advocate.
Oh my gosh. And you 100% like hit the nail, honestly, hit the nail on the head of like the whole reason I even started this TV show because, and that's why I named it Be Zen with Brit, because it's like there's so many things in life that we can feel overwhelmed by when we don't feel empowered with information, and knowledge is power, which is why, I love having experts like you on here to speak with us because this is like what you do. Like, makeup, skin, what works for people, what doesn't. You've had so many different clients of all ages, all skin types. And when we talk to someone like you, we can feel like we have a good base of knowledge to walk in confidently and ask for what we need and managing our expectations. That's important too. Could you share with us a couple of your favorite like makeup tips, things to help us lift, things to, I don't know, things that we could be
Yeah.
trying that maybe we haven't thought of? Because you've done this for so long, so many things.
Yeah, I think especially for women over 40 or women that struggle with maybe textured skin or they feel like their skin isn't perfect. Gone are the days that we are just going to cover everything up. That is really it. I think of your skin like a topographic map.
Okay.
And these full coverage concealers and foundations are just a blanket over them,
Yeah.
but you can still see this, right? And honestly, it almost always highlights texture. And it doesn't matter how many lasers, what I do to my skin is still 43-year-old skin. So I cannot wear what I wore in my 20s. It makes me look older. And so
Mhm.
if you're sitting on the other side of this screen and you're like, I don't know what it is, but I just feel so old lately. I don't like wearing makeup anymore. I totally understand that feeling. In fact, I'd always known that there's a different method to putting on makeup for mature skin. I just didn't know that mature skin started so young.
Right. I know. It's the things that we don't realize. Like, wait, what?
I'm
This
like,
is happening?
oh, my biggest advice I would say is to just try some new things, but give it a bit. And it's okay if you hate it at first. I did. I hated the new things at first. I felt naked without my double wear.
Yeah.
I felt like my skin was greasy. A lot of us feel like we equate like a dewy finish with like sweaty or greasy
Hmm.
because we're so used to that uber matte.
Yeah.
And so it just was a lot of retraining my brain. And then practical advice is you want to shade up as you get older. You have
Okay.
more pigment in your skin. A lot of women are still wearing the same color that they did when they were in their 20s.
Wow.
And then they have to wear a lot more because it's not the right shade and they want to get coverage. And so they're piling it on. If you just shade up a little bit, you
Wow.
find that you get more coverage with less product. And less product is ideal when you have fine lines and wrinkles and just texture in general. So shade up, try cream formulas, things that don't dry down, that stay emollient. Those are going to look more like skin.
Hmm.
Go a little bit brighter with blush. When we were younger, we could do all of these like nudes and dusty tones, but they
Hmm.
start to get muddled on our face again because we have more pigments.
Yeah.
So something brighter because we lose vibrancy as we get older. And
Mhm.
so adding that back in through like a pop, it doesn't have to be like super bright, but you'll be surprised at what life it gives your face.
Yep.
So
These are good. I love these. These are so good. I've never
very
heard
good.
that either. The shade up thing. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. Okay. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So just, we want to start leaning more towards creamy, dewy, lighter, but shading up at the same time.
Yeah. And
Love
you
it.
can still wear powder. I hear a lot of people say like no powder
Yeah.
after a certain age. You can still wear powder. I wear powder. There's a lot of rules that don't need to be there.
Love it. You also have been getting more into the colors that we wear, like what goes with our skin tone, what goes with our eyes. I did
Mhm.
like a little, I was searching around on your new website. I thought it looked very cool. You talked about how you've changed the colors that you're wearing. Will you talk to us about that as well? Because that is so interesting.
Well, first of all, thank you for that. That's really, really sweet of you.
Of course.
We have a system that is fantastic. It has been so much fun to be able to offer that. I want you to be equipped with whatever's right. And so those women that do want it, they feel like it's empowering. And I'm being very intentional with my shopping.
Mhm.
It's just a little tool in your pocket. Really,
Mhm.
that's it.
For sure. Another little tool for the tool belt. Love it. And people can go to your Instagram and they can get more of like your quick posts and quicker videos and just kind of learn little things here and there. But you've also just introduced a new Substack. Tell us about that.
I have such a passion for the aesthetic industry. My purpose behind the Substack was to really pull back that curtain and say, hey, here's all the things I'm privy to. Let me share that with you. Let's decode this together. 20 plus years in the industry with celebrities, with experts, and then now being almost, courted by some companies because you have influence. And I get to meet scientists that really are trying to make a difference and they really care about changing the industry. So my goal of my Substack was to get deeper in just topics that I find fascinating, that I think a lot of women also will find fascinating. It's like just a little bit more in depth than I can go in an Instagram caption.
Well, I'm so excited to follow along. And it's nice
Hey,
to have an insider that we can trust, someone we know is going to be giving us good information. Thank you so much, Katie. I really appreciate you being here. Please let us know where we can find you and all the places to follow you.
yeah, Instagram at Makeup and Skin by Katie. You can find my Substack also at Makeup and Skin by Katie. TikTok at Makeup and Skin by Katie. Same for YouTube. And then you are more than welcome to message me if you have any questions. I definitely try to answer all of my messages, my DMs. Reach out to me. I would love to get to know you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Bees In with Britt. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at BeesInTV and check out our Spotify, where you can watch full episodes and bonus content. Don't miss our next episode on November 6th, right here on WFAA. And as always, please consider fostering, adopting, or volunteering at your local animal shelter. I'm Britt. This is Bees In with Britt, and I'll see you next time.